One of the most endearing characters in the Shrek franchise is the ogre's little sidekick, Donkey. As voiced by Eddie Murphy, he immediately became a fan favorite with his hilarious remarks and interactions with Shrek. I know when I first saw the movie, Donkey was who I got the most enjoyment out of. A donkey had appeared in William Steiger's book, with Shrek encountering one, and then has the donkey take him to the castle where the princess is staying. When Steven Spielberg originally bought the rights to produce an animated film based on Shrek in the early 90s, he supposedly considered Steve Martin for the voice of the donkey, opposite Bill Murray as Shrek. That version was never made, and a few years later, Jeffrey Katzenberg became interested in making an adaptation at DreamWorks. Shrek went through an infamous development phase with all kinds of changes, including having to recast the lead role after Chris Farley died. However, Eddie Murphy was always the voice of Donkey. You even hear him in one of the few publicly released recordings of Farley's Shrek.
You're just displacing your anger.
Believe me, it's properly placed.
You're really mad at whoever did this to you.
No one did anything to me.
Yes. Someone hurt you so bad. Someone hurt you many years ago.
Leave my parents out of this!
Breakthrough!
It would have been interesting to see that dynamic had we gotten the Farley-led version of the movie. However, the one that was eventually released had Mike Myers as Shrek, and their pairing was a fantastic one. From the moment Donkey makes his entrance, he's an incredibly entertaining character, made even better when he attaches himself to Shrek. Some of the funniest and most memorable moments in the film come from these two interacting with each other, and despite Shrek's continuing annoyance at him, Donkey sees him as a fellow outcast, shunned for being different. Eddie Murphy did such a good job of depicting his talkative personality and giving him that endearing quality. He can take a simple line like Donkey wanting to make waffles for breakfast and makes it 10 times funnier with his delivery. He serves as a solid companion for Shrek on their journey as he genuinely wants to help him get his swan back, even though part of that comes from thinking that means he'll let him stay there, which is far from Shrek's intent. Nonetheless, that bonding is solidly developed. The filmmakers also gave Donkey a romance with a fire-breathing dragon, and even though he initially rejects her advances, we do see his sympathy for her later, and I think that's another reason he endeared so much to audiences. He clearly has a lot of sympathy for almost everyone he encounters, whether it's Shrek or Princess Fiona. When he finds out Fiona is also an ogre, he's the one who encourages her to get together with Shrek, as it was clear to Donkey, even before he knew about her secret, how much they're attracted to each other's personalities. Donkey just wants to help his friends achieve their happiness, and that's very sweet. Eddie Murphy really highlighted the wacky, comical, and more serious sides of Donkey's personality with his performance, and it remains one of my favorite roles of his. He would even receive a BAFTA nomination for Best Supporting Actor, the only time they've ever recognized a voiceover role, and it was certainly deserving. By the way, the visual inspiration for the character actually came from a real donkey named Perry, who lives in Palo Alto, California, and is a bit of a local celebrity over there. DreamWorks did not waste any time capitalizing on Shrek, with sequels and other productions featuring the characters being made. One of the first was the Shrek 4D attraction at Universal Studios, which had Donkey helping Shrek rescue Fiona from the ghost of Lord Farquaad. Then came Shrek 2, which continued to use Donkey to great effect as they go to land far, far away to meet Fiona's parents. He remained an hilarious presence, including a scene where he annoys Shrek on their long road trip. There's also the iconic dinner table scene where he tries to fit right in with in-laws, and the rivalry that develops between him and Puss in Boots, with them often trading insults of each other. Part of this comes from almost a protectiveness of Shrek. After all, he and Shrek had an adventure together. Who's this new talking animal entering their turf? Later on, Donkey drinks a magical potion and turns into a stallion, which provides funny moments of his own as he excitedly has fun in his new appearance. Although one of the effects of the potion is that the drinker's true love is also transformed. So what did the dragon turn into? According to the directors on the DVD's audio commentary track, she turned into a Pegasus, which makes sense. And much like the first movie ended with Donkey performing his rendition of I'm a Believer, Shrek 2 concludes with a fantastic performance from Donkey and Puss of Living La Vida Loca. Donkey would make a guest appearance on DreamWorks' animated television series Father of the Pride. Remember that show about the lions and Siegfried and Roy? It was an odd one. Anyway, Donkey showed up in one episode where he's a famous actor in-universe playing a role in the Shrek movies. He's treated like a big celebrity, although his personality is different than in the films, essentially parroting egotistical actors. At one point, he reveals Shrek 3 is opening in 2006, which was probably the original plan when Murphy recorded that line, but the film would obviously be delayed until 2007. In Shrek the Third, Donkey continues his rivalry with Puss, although there's a bit less hostility between them here. At one point, Merlin accidentally body swaps Donkey and Puss, and that becomes one of the main uses of him in the story, of him not knowing what to do in this cat body and with all of his accessories. One of the major themes of the film is that of parenthood, and since Donkey's already become a parent with his dragon-donkey hybrid children, there's that contrast between him and Shrek, who's worried about becoming a father. In Shrek Forever After, we encounter an alternate universe version of Donkey, who never came across his ogre friend. While initially fearful of Shrek, he comes to realize he's a genuinely good person and decides to help him defeat Rumpelstiltskin. His personality trait of wanting to help someone in need and the connection he has with Shrek remains even in this alternate timeline, and funnily enough, so does his love for waffles and a bit of his rivalry with Puss. What stands out about Forever After to me are the dramatic moments, and Donkey shares a few nice ones with Shrek. Now, Eddie Murphy does not always voice Donkey, with other actors coming in when he's not available. In the Halloween special, Scared Shrekless, comedian Dean Edwards did his voice, and he's also provided in commercials and other things. Meanwhile, Mark Mosley has frequently done Donkey in video games. At the Universal Studios theme parks, guests can actually interact with Donkey with a hidden actor voicing him and providing comical remarks to them. Different parks use different puppets, with a few looking more movie accurate than others. The Donkey in Orlando used to look like that piece of nightmare fuel, but it appears he's very recently gotten a much needed makeover. For several years, especially after Universal bought DreamWorks Animation, the possibility has existed of a fifth Shrek movie entering production. Chris Meledandri was hired as an executive producer tasked with figuring out a way with reviving the series with a new film and with the cast coming back to it. A few months ago, it was officially announced that Shrek 5 is indeed happening, with Mike Myers, Cameron Diaz, and yes, Eddie Murphy returning. I'm certainly curious to see what story they've come up with and what new places they'll take Shrek, Fiona, Donkey, and the other fairy tale characters to. There are a lot of potential ideas, which I've discussed in another video. Now, for years, Eddie Murphy has talked about wanting to see Donkey get his own spin-off movie like Puss in Boots got. And while promoting the new Beverly Hills Cop sequel, he mentioned that DreamWorks has started developing a Donkey movie. If that happens, it's likely in the very early stages, but I've already seen people groaning at this being a possibility, and I don't understand the cynicism. Eddie Murphy has proven himself on multiple occasions that he can lead a comedy, sometimes even plays several characters in the same film, so he could absolutely be the lead protagonist in an animated comedy. Now, some might make the argument that Donkey is better in small doses, but Donkey has never been used in small doses. In all the movies, he's often there side by side with Shrek and features in a majority of the film. I think he can absolutely sustain an entire feature if they come up with a worthy enough story involving Donkey, either with Shrek in there or independent of him. Donkey is one of the best and most endearing animated sidekicks of all time, often there to help out, provide moral support, say a hilarious remark, or perform a song. Whenever I rewatched Shrek, and I did that several times, it was Donkey who gave me the most laughs, and he would continue to provide joy in the sequels too. See you next time.